When I started gardening in 2005 with the Adama Fellowship at Isabella Freedman in Connecticut, um, I became very interested in growing vegetables for food and fruits and perennial herbs that attracted pollinators and that we can use for teas and medicines. And I never really took an interest in succulents and houseplants, things that I thought were like trendy plants. And yet, somehow over the last year, they have completely captivated me, just the beauty of succulents. And I went to a greenhouse last year to buy my first succulents. And for succulents like this small, it was 12 shekels, and this big was like 30 shekels. And I thought, okay, this is an awesome plant, but so much more expensive than, vegetable starts. Grew a little succulent garden that I love and wanted to expand it, and have had some successful experiments in succulent propagation, so I wanted to share that wisdom. So there are a few ways to propagate succulents, and different succulents are different, so I'll just focus on the ones that I have here. One of them is by twisting a leaf off of the succulent plant. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. This is my cute little succulent garden. So one is going to the very bottom of the plant and literally just twisting gently a leaf off, taking it off, and we'll get into that in a moment. And one of them is to collect the pups. So the pups are like next to the main plant. You get these tiny little growths. You can just sort of twist them out of the soil and repot them. So let's go back to the leaf propagation. This spot right here, this is the leaf that I just twisted off of there. It has a moist little opening at its edge, and succulents need to dry over to form a kind of a callus before they can be watered again, because if you put this straight in the soil and start watering it, or if you start misting it from the beginning, it will rot. So the first thing that you do is set them aside for like 3 days to a week to callus off. So I started with about 30 leaves that I harvested from these, and during the callusing process, I think I lost one or two. They just rotted on their own. Then, once they're calloused, I lay them out on a little tray of potting soil, like this. And I have seen different techniques. People said they use 100% peat and cactus soil, or they mix it in with a lot of perlite or vermiculite, and I didn't have those things on hand, so I just put them straight into this regular, standard, cheapest thing in the greenhouse potting soil, and they've done really, really well. So what I did is, after they calloused off, put them here in the potting soil, and with the mister setting on my hose, which I'll just show you real quick, where is that? That's this guy, one that says mist, or with just a misting can, which I've let my kids use because it does a little bit less damage. Just mist them daily, and what starts to form is like so magical that it's hard to even describe. And the varieties that I have, these like bright pink roots, I'm gonna gently pull one out and hope that it will reroot nicely. Okay, so what we've got is, from one side, let's see where we can, if you can see that, from one side you get these really beautiful hot pink little roots, and from the other side a tiny little mini succulent starts growing. Now the main thing that's sustaining this little baby succulent is the nutrients in the leaf. So you start to see this leaf or petal start to slowly dry up, and that's okay. And eventually they root more deeply in the soil, And when they grow to be about 2 inches, you can transplant them into their own pot. So that's these guys. I have a bunch of different kinds, and they're all just like as sweet as can be. I've had about 90% success with these rooting and not rotting. I've had some rot. Maybe I overdid it on the mister in the beginning before I learned that finesse, that it was basically misting once a morning. So the next technique is repotting the pups. So basically, I pull up this little pup from next to the mother plant, and also this, I want to let it dry out. So you can let it sit for like 3 days to a week for the roots to dry out, and then repot in soil, and then start watering lightly. You need really good drainage for succulents. So you could put some rocks or some sand on the bottom of your pot, and then just, I don't know, people say cactus potting soil, but I've never purchased anything specific. And then the last one that I wanted to show you is, I guess, everybody's favorite or most famous succulent, which is aloe vera, because it's so nice on sunburned skin, and some people even eat it. So basically, next to the mother plant, I have 2 in my garden right now. One was here when I moved in, and it grew lots of little pups. I just took these ones off a few minutes ago. And the other one was a gift from my friend Aviva, just one that she pulled out. So these guys I want to take now. You can see their sort of root system. They pull off super easily from the mother plant. I barely even needed to dig. Let it dry out for a week, pot it up, start watering, and then you have a bunch of free plants. So you could extend your own landscape or have gifts to give, or you could start a little succulent growing business. But I think that succulent propagation is incredible, also because of how beautiful and delicate and sort of spiralic the process is, but also because it's amazing to realize how bountiful nature is and how easily we can get these things for free and share them for free. So wishing you luck on your succulent journey.